Okay, guys. So, guys, in the last lecture, we have already understood what is a synchronous callback, right? What synchronous callback is all about, how to do it, and what is the basic meaning of a callback function, right? There are n number of callback functions. We have, but only discussed synchronous callback. This lecture is about asynchronous callback, and it is going to get even more interested over here, right? So, what is going to happen, guys, is that we are going to discuss asynchronous callback. Asynchronous callback is that something will happen even it is not required at that point in time. So how to do that? Let's try to understand with the help of this war kind like of situation wherein India and Pakistan are at full scale war. In our last topic, we already discussed that countries have already decided to go on a full scale war. Let's say world war has even started. I hope it should never get started, but let's say it got started somehow, right? So allow me to create a new file, and the name of the file is, let's say, abcd.js. Just any meaningful name, right? CLS, right? So what we are going to do over here is that I'm going to create a particular function, and the name of the function is, let's say, India nuclear missile launch. Let's say I'm creating this particular method, and onto this particular method, India has the capability to launch nuclear missile, right? Let's say launch nuclear missile by India. Okay, so guys, what happens in a war kind like a situation? Can you just think it of at some point in time? And the next example that I'm going to take is of, let's say, Pakistan, right? Whatever the way you can commute, or you can just take name. Okay, so let's say I've created these two particular functions over here, and if I want to call them out, I want a particular order. But I asked you a question, guys, that what normally happens onto this particular kind of situation. Everybody decided, to go on a full scale war, as we discussed in our previous lecture, in a synchronous kind of situation, right? In synchronous callback, it was decided that we are going for a full scale war, right? So now what happens, guys, in a war kind like of situation, as you can see over here, the country that strikes first has always the upper hand, right? Although we do have a government policy that we will not have a strike first kind of policy. If somebody strikes, then only we are going to strike it later on. But let's say I'm assuming that we decided, because world war has been already decided, and we are going to strike first, which means that first India will strike and then only Pakistan can strike to India, right? Now, I want this particular order to be followed. Allow me to copy it out. This concept will get embedded onto your mind, guys. I'm very, very sure. I'm 100% sure, right? I want this sequence to be followed. Allow me to save the file, and now allow me to type it node abcd.js. Right? So launch nuclear missile by India, and then only we can see that Pakistan is able to launch its nuclear missile, right? Because if we launch first, then Pakistan is no more. I hope you guys know this. So I'm just taking a weird example, a virtual example that should never ever happen. We both are peace-loving countries, and we both love humanity, both the people of these countries. Okay, so now what is going to happen is that I want this thing to happen onto this particular sequential order, right? But let's say in India, what happens, there is some kind of delay occurs due to internal politics, due to internal talks that goes on. Let's say set timeout. I'm just making use of this particular thing, and this method wants two parameter, handler and timeout, right? So for the timeout, let's say I'm giving it 2 seconds. Okay, and for this set timeout, allow me to create a particular anonymous function over here. Okay, and I am just going to print something over here, which means that uh, let's say discussion with prime minister's office. let's say PMO, right? Okay. So now I'm going to, guys, what I'm going to do is that I am again going to run this particular file and let's see what happens, right? So currently what is happening, currently what happened, have you guys noticed? Allow me to comment it out, then you will be able to understand even more better way. Allow me to do CLS and now. See, we are, although World War has already started, we are having a discussion with PMO based upon our strike first policy, and our policy says that, until and unless another country strikes to us, we are not going to do that. But even we are having a discussion with our PMO, Pakistan has already launched their nuclear missile towards India. Launched nuclear missile by Pakistan, right, towards India. Let's say, allow me to print it as well, towards INDI. This is not sequential. This is not we wanted at the start of our lecture, right? We always wanted India should strike first and then only these guys should be able to strike us, if they are able to survive, right? But here what happened, in the meantime, it took some time for India, to launch its nuclear missile. They were having a discussion with the prime minister, and within that period of time, let's say they have strike us first. So this is not synchronicity. Some kind of asynchronous activity is being going on. What is asynchronous? Which means that what JavaScript has done over here, guys, in terms of technicalities, JavaScript, yeah, saw that there is some kind of timeout over here. In the meantime, JavaScript came line by line and it executed this first, right? But do you want this to happen in your real life? Even in your real life automation, you won't be willing to have kind of situation where is one method which is not required is being called at some point in time. I hope I'm making some sense, right? So in a war kind like of situation, you would never want an opposite country to strike you first, is right? So this is not what we want and not we wanted at the start of the lecture. So what we are going to do is that we are going to do some asynchronous callback. Allow me to just comment it out, this particular stuff, and allow me to run it for the sake of my understanding where we are. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that, guys, what we are going to do is that, let's say this is a function that got created, right? And now onto this particular function we are going to pass a callback functionality over here, let's say CB. Okay, and after CB, uh, if we pass a callback functionality over here, then it needs to be passed over here as well, right? And we are calling it over here. This method is, we are calling it over here. So what I have done over here is that I am calling Indian nuclear missile launch, right? And what I'm going to do is that I have to pass to this a particular form of parameter. This method wants a particular parameter, so that after this particular line, this should happen, right? Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pass this function in form of a parameter, so that from asynchronicity, this is what asynchronicity is all about. Pakistan already launched a missile towards India. Although we are having a discussion, we are already thinking whether we should strike or you not, and you have already launched within 2 seconds of time your missile program, right? So in order to avoid this asynchronous kind of activity, we want synchronicity. So I'm going to pass this function in the form of parameter, and this will be called as asynchronous callback. In my last lecture, I have just discussed what is synchronous callback, and this is going to be an asynchronous callback. Now, just allow me to quickly save this particular file, and if I do it, if I save it, then we should get some form of expected outcome. As of now, the outcome that we have received, it is not correct, right? Launch nuclear missile towards India. No. First, we will be having a discussion and then it should happen, right? So allow me to, it should not be there, and it should be at least here as well, right? So what is going to happen, this method Pakistan nuclear missile launch will be passed on to this CB variable. Okay, and this cv variable is going to get called this cv method. So this entire method is now going to get passed over here as well, right? So allow me to save it, and now allow me to run it. So now what will happen? Even we have taken 2 seconds of delay, but first we are going to discuss with the pmo, and then only Pakistan will be able to launch nuclear missile or not. And allow me to add one more line, that line that we copy pasted over here. Allow me to just copy paste it over here as well, right? So now we have achieved total synchronicity, what we wanted at what point in time we have already achieved, guys, over here, right? So quickly, what we are doing is that we are first having a discussion with the pmo. This is synchronous activity. Then we are having a discussion whether to launch a missile by India or not, and we have launched it first, let's say, right? And then these Pakistanis, if they are able to survive, then they are launching their missile towards India. So this is the level of synchronicity that we want, right? And I have been able to make you understand with the help of this particular example, right? Onto this particular my previous topic that I told you guys. So that at least you are able to understand and this concept gets embedded onto your mind. Again, I'm reiterating guys everything from the start, from the scratch, in order to have make asynchronicity to synchronicity. If you want an asynchronous callback function, then what should happen is that you can pass a function that you want to be executed at some point in time, right? It will happen at some point in time. And what is the meaning of this? See onto this my lecture. I have mentioned specifically over here, a callback function is a function that is kept by that function and executed later at the appropriate time. I hope you guys have understand. I kept this function, I have taken Pakistan under my control, and I want Pakistan to launch the missile depending upon my own will, depending upon to be executed later at the appropriate time. So what Playwright does is that it saves this method and it executes it at the appropriate time. So what is the appropriate time? First we will have a discussion with the PMO, then we will strike first, and then you should be allowed to do this. So now everything is happening into a very synchronous way, right? So this is what this lecture is, guys, all about. Everything is happening in a very sequential way. Okay, so first this is happening, then this is happening, and this is the another thing that is happening. And also guys, I wanted to tell you one thing. The concept I am giving you is as of today, but we have done enough lectures onto it. In Java script programming, when I was telling you what these functions are all about, or even in a playwright automation, we have already done around 10 lectures, and unknowingly we have already implemented it, but we were not aware of it. How? This page dot on dialog, try to see what is happening over here. This page dot on, this is a method, and it accepts two parameter, just like this particular method. It accepts one parameter, and this was accepting two parameter. One is the venue and one is this particular function, right? So in the same way, it is also accepting two parameters. One is your event. What is the event that is going to happen? If a dialog appears on a page, then dialog dot dismiss accept should be done. We have already handled it in onto one of our lecture, how to handle alerts, mouse over, right? You guys must have seen my lecture. I think this is the particular lecture, JavaScript alerts and mouse over, Playwright automation part 9. You can see in onto my Playwright playlist, right? So we have already handled it, but you guys were unaware of this. Why? Because I that was not the right time. Even when I was starting this particular entire series, I told you I am not going to tell you the thing, a concept where you think I should tell. I will tell you at the right time so that you are not wasting your life in order to understand just a simple language like JavaScript, and that too a very simple tool like a Playwright. Don't waste your life in learning and spending so much of time. Learn it and try to earn something. That is it. So what I'm trying to say is that we have already done it. So what is happening? The line number 13 will be executed first if a dialog appears, right? So what is happening? The dialog is appearing onto line number 14, right? As soon as it is done, this function is getting called, because it is not going to line number 17 and 18. After 14 it is going to line number 13 in order to make the synchronicity. आपको लोग को गैस समझ में आ रहा है, राइट? यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, इन द मेथड दैट आई हैव कॉल्ड, I do not want that, Pakistan to launch a nuclear missile to me first. I first want to have a discussion with my prime minister. Then I want to launch first. I want to strike first. Being a resident of India, let's say, for example. Not for example, I am a resident. And then I want them to do whatever they want to do, because I know if we do it, they won't be remaining. And this is another thing, but in terms of functionality, I want this functionality to be implemented first, right? Because if you do not get the list of elements, then how you are going to iterate over this list of elements? So this kind of synchronicity you are going to do in your Playwright automation, guys, right? So this is what I have been trying to achieve, and this is what I'm trying to make you guys understand. I hope after watching this lecture, at least you will be stopping your search. If you want, you are, please feel free to search any other thing and learn from where you are able to understand. But this is what it is all about. It is not technical, but it has been made technical in office, in discussions, in forums, in various online activities. So it is a very easy, simple topic, and try to understand in this particular way. I hope you will be, your life problem will be getting solved to some extent, right? So guys, thank you for your time and patience, and thanks a lot, and please let me know if you liked my lecture, guys. Thank you, and please subscribe, guys. Thank you.